Let me introduce now the candidates who have accepted our invitation, all of them, to participate and are present here this morning. Mike Coffey, Mike Farmer, Mike Houston, Mario Ingoglia, Frank Kunz, William McCarty, Sheila Stocks-Smith, and John Thomas.
I'd like to thank President Bob Gray and the Board of Governors of the Citizens Club for hosting this mayoral forum. I'd also like to thank WTAX, WSEC for broadcasting the event for our community. The race for mayor is extremely important, and you are doing a great public service. I'm Mike Coffey, a lifelong resident of Springfield, Illinois. I attended Little Flower Grade School, Griffin High School, and the University of Illinois in Champaign. After graduating college, I returned home in the family business and married my high school sweetheart, Lori, who is also a lifelong resident of Springfield. We are proud parents of 3 beautiful children, Allie, Frankie, and Chloe. Our family business, Saputo's Restaurant, has been a Springfield landmark since 1948, and I'm proud to say that there has been a member of my family on the corner of 8th and Monroe for 4 generations. The work ethic that I've learned from our family business is a lifelong lesson that I will take with me if fortunate enough to be elected mayor. Our business requires us to be the first one to open the door and the last one to leave at night. This is the kind of dedication we need at City Hall. Today, Springfield is at a crossroads, and the decision made at the ballot box will help determine our future. I believe Springfield needs to look forward, not backwards, as we choose a new mayor to lead the city of Springfield. Springfield has great challenges the next mayor must address. Fortunately, we have all the ingredients needed to make Springfield one great city. I appreciate the opportunity to lay out some of my agenda and vision for Springfield. First of all, Springfield must balance the budget. As mayor, I will call for a line-by-line audit of the city budget to eliminate waste and mismanagement. For too long, budget decisions have been made in back rooms by political insiders without transparency and accountability to the people of Springfield. That practice will end in my administration. Secondly, I will not ask taxpayers to give up more of their hard-earned money by raising taxes to pay for overspending. Government must live within its means, just like our families and businesses. Lake Springfield and City Water, Light, and Power are the crown jewels of the city of Springfield and must be protected and preserved. As mayor, I will end the practice of making City Water, Light, and Power a dumping ground for political hires by employing professional staff. We will reduce costs and improve efficiencies. I will enhance community policing activities and step up patrols to target resources in areas that report spikes in criminal activities. As mayor, I will be the biggest cheerleader and advocate for jobs and economic development. Working with my Council of Economic Advisors, we will develop strategies to grow the medical district, enhance tourism, and help small businesses, the backbone of the Springfield economy, succeed. As chair of the Prairie Capital Convention Center, I have seen firsthand how government rules and bureaucracy can stifle growth. I will work with groups like the Springfield Chamber and the Capital Area Association of Realtors to help eliminate and reduce burdensome and costly regulations that inhibit growth. We can do this while still protecting our neighborhoods and families. I oppose putting the high-speed rail on the 3rd Street corridor because of its negative impact on the businesses and medical districts. I support creating a new intermodal center on 10th Street that integrates rail, bus, and taxi service. I'm running for mayor because it's time for a change. We need to end insider deals and political hiring and put Springfield first. It's time that we have accountability and transparency in government. We need to bring together people from all walks of life, Democrats, Republicans, independents, business and labor, people from the north, south, east, and west of Springfield. I want to make Springfield safer for senior citizens and a place where our children are proud to come home and work and raise a family.
Excuse me, Mr. Coffey, your time has expired. My apologies to the candidates for not pointing out our timing device here. Green is for go. When the yellow light comes on, 30 seconds are remaining in your time. And when the red light comes on, time has expired. Thank you, Mr. Coffey.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. I was thinking on my way in this morning, when was the last time I was on this stage? As a matter of fact, it was in the Springfield Ballet Company's production of Men in Tights. That's not a pretty picture, it's not a pretty picture. But I'm happy to be here this morning, and let me begin by also thanking the Citizens Club, Bob Gray, and WSCC TV. And I also want to thank everyone for being here. The candidates, I want to appreciate my fellow candidates for your commitment to this campaign. Running for mayor is no easy task, and serving as mayor of the city of Springfield will be the challenge of a lifetime. Whoever emerges as the victor in April will need all the help and support available. As I stand here this morning, I make this pledge. Whoever is elected to serve our great city, he or she, they can count on my support and all the assistance I can lend. Unless, of course, I win, then I'll be the one asking for a unified effort and support and assistance for all of us together. The next mayor of Springfield is faced with the unenviable task of pulling our city and our neighbors from the most worst global economy of our lifetime. We may not yet know who it will be, but of this I am certain. This is no time for amateurs. The next mayor of our great city must be ready to seamlessly transition into the seat of the chief executive officer. Indeed, I base my decision to run for mayor because of my vast experience in creating jobs and developing strong and healthy economies. We hear some politicians talk about family values, but what are family values? I may be a little new when it comes to politics, but I'm old-fashioned when it comes to family values because my entire career has centered on the creation of good jobs and growing the economy. I understand that jobs make up the core of a healthy, happy, and prosperous family. As mayor, I'll expand our economy and bring new jobs to our community. In doing so, our city's financial pressures will ease, and we, all of us together, will emerge as a great community where Lincoln once worked and lived. Now, this isn't idle chatter. I know how to do it. Let me supply you with a few examples. American General Life Insurance Company came into the city, the mayor, several years ago and said, we're leaving downtown Springfield and perhaps we'll leave the city. We worked to retain 400 jobs and their new facility in their new West Side location. But in the process, we brokered a deal with the Illinois State Police to locate their headquarters in the majestic Franklin Life property. Kindred Long-Term Acute Care Facility just opened their doors a few days ago. They will bring 150 new jobs in a blighted old property known as Doctors Park on North Walnut Street. 150 new jobs, pharmacists, doctors, nurses, technicians on the doorstep of the medical district at Springfield. We worked diligently to retain Pepsi-Cola Bottling Company on East Springfield. There was a company who had outgrown their facility on Cook Street. Wonderful stewards of that property on Cook Street for 65 years. Time for a new facility. This spring they will begin construction of a multi-million-dollar new facility to distribute their products. And coming June 25th, 300 new jobs at Sheila's Super Center on South MacArthur Boulevard on the extension. And the best is yet to come. There will be more to follow Sheila's. Companies, retail and commercial, that want to be in the Sheila's orbit. Very exciting for our community. And likewise, as it is right here at the Hoogland Center in downtown Springfield, where revitalization and rehabilitation of older properties, facade restorations, and streetscaping have made our central business district an area most desirable for conventioneers, tourists, artisans, and urban dwellers. Yes, upper story conversion of some of our older properties, getting the highest and best use out of older properties that have shifted from commercial and office to now residential. And we must continue to enhance the quality of our life throughout the city of Springfield. And speaking of the economy, throughout this recession, the worst in 80 years, Springfield has an unemployment rate lower than both the state and national averages. As a matter of fact, in the paper the other day, the rate just went down to 7.1%. Now, that's way too high. We all can agree on that. But we're better than all of our peer communities in the state of Illinois, except Bloomington Normal.
Thank you, Mr. Farmer.
Compared. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Mike Houston, and I had the honor and privilege to serve as mayor from 1979 to 1987. People often ask me why I'm running for mayor. First and foremost, I love this city. As mayor, I felt responsibility for the city, and it is something that I continue to feel. I believe that with responsible leadership, our community has a bright future and that we can grow and prosper. The current state of city finances and the impact on the delivery of public services is unacceptable. Last February, I began to talk publicly about running for mayor in this election. What I saw at that time was an incumbent mayor who did not appear to have a credible candidate to challenge him, and I thought that the voters deserved a choice. I felt that the city needed a change in leadership, and I did not agree with the direction that the city was taking. City Water, Light, and Power had become a political fiefdom. So I decided to enter the race and offer my background and experience to the voters. The leadership and management abilities of the next mayor will have a major impact on the direction the community takes. Springfield needs a mayor who can provide leadership to the city council and who has the ability to manage city government. Those are two different skill sets, and I have demonstrated that I have the capability of doing both. As a former mayor, I know the importance of selling the general public on what needs to be done and then selling the city council. How many times have you heard the statement that it's up to the city council to decide what needs to be done? It's up to the mayor under this form of government to provide leadership and direction to the city council. I am the only person in this race that has demonstrated the ability to do that. The mayor needs to manage the city. I have 20 years of experience in CEO positions. I have over 35 years of private sector management experience, and I was the chairman, president, and CEO of Town & Country Bank up until March 2009. While I realize that the city is not a business, the principles of running a business need to be applied to running government. I know city government, I know how it works and how it's financed. I'm not running for mayor because I need a job or I'm building my resume. I'm running for mayor because it's time that we get serious about dealing with the problems that our community faces, and those problems go far beyond balancing the city's budget. My priorities are to grow the local economy and to work with local businesses to retain existing jobs and create new jobs by fostering an environment and attitude in city government that welcomes and works with people who want to make an investment and or create jobs in our community. I will put our financial house in order and develop a sound financial plan looking at the big picture. We have to approach city government being realistic about the economic climate that exists today and what I would assume will exist in the foreseeable future. We must have clean and safe streets to create the quality of life that the people of Springfield can be proud of and that is conducive to creating economic development and job opportunities. I will ensure that police officers and firefighters have the tools necessary to protect the people of Springfield. We will develop a long-term infrastructure plan to deal with the serious street and sewer problems that exist and ensure that services such as snow plowing and leaf pickup are provided on an efficient and citywide basis. I will appoint a professional manager as the general manager of City Water, Light, and Power, and I will pledge to restore the utility to the professional organization it once was and where the employees will once again be proud to be part of the utility. I'm Mike Houston, and I'm asking for your vote on February 22nd. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Mario Ingoglia, and it took me 4 years to get up here. Bruce Drum, how are you? Mayor Edwards. Thank you, Citizens Club. Don Gray's a great guy. He gave me a call. He says, you got to show up. I said, I'm in. So I'm a pretty simple-spoken person, I guess. I look like I should be in an Italian movie. I never got the opportunity, so. But anyways, my history, of course, I'm a citizen of Castelvetrano, Sicily, and my mom and dad decided to take a trip over to America one day, and so we did. And I was 6 years old, and my father got a job in the clothing manufacturer in Jacksonville, Illinois. He was a designer, inspector, and produced garments. And basically, you know, I was on for the ride because I didn't have an opportunity to get off the boat, so here I am. I studied in Jacksonville, Illinois, grew up in Jacksonville, not too far from here, about 30 miles. Used to take the old Jacksonville Road to get to Springfield when I was a kid, and used to come to the concerts and the events and all the tourism sites that there are in Springfield to enjoy. We were taught Abraham Lincoln this, Abraham Lincoln that, which is a major draw to Springfield, and I think that we need to focus in on that still. Abraham Lincoln was the founding father and the most popular president that this state's ever produced. I'm all about tourism because I lived in a very big tourism town at one time when I was in my 20s. I lived in San Diego, California for a decade, and that was a trip, and I enjoyed it. But, you know, I should have probably done it backwards, and I should have retired in California and lived in Illinois, but first. So anyways, I know what tourism can do for a community, and I think that's an untapped market. It really hasn't been utilized much. I have friends in Chicago, and they said, Mario, when we come to Springfield, we look around, we go to get something to eat, and then there's really not that much more to do, you know? And so I try to, you know, embrace that concept. When I was coming back from Chicago after we had a SIU reunion, and a lot of my friends are in Chicago, and why can't we draw some of those folks down here and get those Chicago dollars down here and let them enjoy some of our tourism sites, you know? And that's just common sense stuff. But we had one heck of a storm, and I want to compliment the city of Springfield, the Public Works Department, and the fire and police department, and all the first responders for the people that got stuck in the ditches and all. I was one of them. We have to have a community that's based on reliability, and as mayor, I would definitely accelerate that. I think the first responders are the heroes of this community, and I think they should be rewarded in any chance we can provide them with a reward. We also have to have, of course, fundamental street service, and again, you know, the sewers and the tree limb pickup and all that, that's a needed necessity. I'm going to make sure that we have that in place. I'm also going to have an open door policy into the mayor's office. I might even bring my sewing machine in there and put it in the corner for old time's sake, but nevertheless, I'll be able to engage and converse with the citizens of Springfield. I've been here probably the longest place that I've ever lived is Springfield, Illinois, of all my little transient trips, and I've enjoyed living here, and I want to continue living here and invest in the community. Thank you. My name is Mario Ingoglia.
Hi, I'm Frank Kunz. I'd like to thank everybody for coming here. For 12 years, I've already had my soapbox at the city council, so 12 years I tried to be open, honest, say it the way it is, base my votes on reality instead of keep thinking about, you know, what's going to come next. I've served underneath 2 mayors, seen the mistakes they made. I think that gives me enough experience to be mayor. My administration will be back to the basics. We're going to put firemen in firehouse and the police on the street, and the fluff's going to be cut out, and you're pretty going to get the same thing you've seen as an alderman for 12 years. You'll see me as mayor. I'll save you some time. I'm done.
Good morning. I too would like to thank Mr. Gray and the Citizens Club for inviting me to be here today. My grandparents bought the Springfield Laundry in 1947, and they operated it there on the corner of 4th and Jefferson until 1979, at which point my parents bought that business and they relocated to East Springfield, where they ran it for over 2 decades before retiring to Florida. The reason I'm telling you this is because, like many other candidates here, my roots in Springfield run deep. I've spent 33 of my 35 years of life in and around Springfield. And it's because my roots run so deep that I'm enthusiastic about this opportunity to lead the city. And I believe I have the education, the experience, and the enthusiasm to get the job done and fix what's wrong with Springfield. I went to Sacred Heart Griffin, yes, SHG, it was consolidated at the time, and I spent my first 2 years of college at Lincoln Land. I went on to Notre Dame and got my BBA in finance, and most recently, last December, received my master's in public administration from here in town at UIS. I have extensive experience in public finance and budgeting, at both the municipal and state levels. In fact, for the past 3+ years, I've been the Chief Financial Officer of CMS's Bureau of Property Management, overseeing annual budgets in excess of $200 million. I have business experience as well. As I just told you, my parents had a linen supply company here in Springfield for many years, but they also owned a restaurant. As a teenager, I grew up working in that restaurant, and I know that's a familiar theme, at least with one of our candidates here. But I also own a couple of side businesses of my own. I own and operate them, and I've been doing it for many years. I also have the distinct honor and privilege to serve as both a mayor and trustee, the equivalent of a city councilman, in Williamsville. And I'm extremely proud of my record out there, and I invite anyone to examine it as closely as they would like. Two things I want to point out. The Government Finance Officers Association Best Practices recommends that cities have between 8 and 15% in reserves. It's 8 and 15% of expenses in reserves. Springfield doesn't even come close right now. When I left Williamsville, when my administration was over, Williamsville had reserves in excess of 100%, which means the village could have operated for more than a year without collecting a single dollar of revenue and without cutting a single person or single service. I also started the Kids and Cops program out there. The intent of the program was to foster positive relationships between police officers and students, because all too often, the only interaction between the youth of the area and police officers is of a negative intent. The SJR did a story on that, and it must have caught somebody's attention because we got a call shortly thereafter from the Los Angeles County Police Department. They wanted to know all about our program, and they spent over an hour on the phone with our police chief going over it. Those are the types of things that make doing that job worth it. It's the reason I'm so enthusiastic about the opportunity to lead this city. See, I have a passion for public service, and I always have. I've immersed myself in it here in Springfield. I'm on the board of directors of the Parent Place and Mercy Communities. I'm a member of the ABC Club, Knights of Columbus, Little Flower Men's Club, and several other organizations, and I'm active in all of them. I also volunteer for Toys for Tots, the Muni, and occasionally, when I have time, St. John's Breadline. Ultimately, I feel it's that last attribute of enthusiasm that is most important to be the leader of a city or in any governmental position, because while education and experience, the things that are up here, can make you a good leader, it's passion, enthusiasm, it's what's in here. That's what propels you from being a good leader to being a great leader. And right now, that's what Springfield needs. It deserves nothing less than someone who can be a great leader. Thank you.
Some of Frank's time. Club for hosting this morning's forum, and to all of you for your interest in this race for mayor of Springfield. I can't begin today without recognizing a dear friend of mine. When I first moved to Springfield almost 20 years ago, as part of my earliest efforts to get involved in the community, I met Rudy Davenport, who, as you know, is co-founder of the Citizens Club. What you may not know is Rudy is the chair of my campaign committee, and I am standing here this morning running for mayor of Springfield because of Rudy and others like him, many of whom are in this room today. People who I've been privileged to work alongside in the community, people who every day help make Springfield a better place to live for everyone. That said, we're here today to talk about who should be our next mayor. It's an important question, and this is an important election. Today, Springfield faces challenging times. We find ourselves once again with exploding budget deficits, high unemployment, a public fed up with governments that seem to serve everyone but them, and demoralized city workers. The voters of Springfield are looking to this election to provide a new direction that will get us back on track. That's why I'm running for mayor. We need a new approach to City Hall, one that ensures that we live within our means, creates new jobs, and restores accountability to city government. We need a community leader with common sense approach who will roll up her sleeves and cut through the nonsense to get things done for the city of Springfield, for the people of Springfield. When I made Springfield my home, I made a commitment not only to build a strong family here, but to help build a strong community. I helped form the Springfield Project, Springfield Parents for Public Schools, and the College Assistance Program at Lincoln Library. I served on countless community boards and initiatives. I've organized voter registration drives, fought for honest, open, and responsive government, and for active and informed citizens. And I've been a long-time and vocal advocate for improving our schools and neighborhoods. I can tell you that when you spend that much time working from the outside to effect change, you see firsthand how easy it is for people who serve in positions of power to become stale and unimaginative in their approach to the problems we face. We need to shake things up. Let's first build on our strengths. Our medical district and healthcare industry, which boasts a nationally recognized medical school and 2 world-class hospitals, is at the center of our future and needs to be the city's top economic development priority. As a person with deep ties to the medical community, I know this story well, and I will champion this effort. But economic development and community development are closely linked, and we must focus on both. It takes more than TIF designations and facade improvements to revitalize downtown and older neighborhoods. It takes quality schools, convenient amenities, accessible services, safe streets, modern infrastructure, and healthy natural environments. This is a story I also know well, as I've dedicated my 28-year career to working on these issues and more. Springfield is also blessed with some of the greatest national treasures in the nation: strong colleges, an outstanding university, good public and private schools, a business community actively committed to progress, a skilled and dedicated workforce, and families and individuals in every corner of our community working to build stronger, healthier neighborhoods for their children and beyond. As a community leader, I know that the key to our long-term success is the ability to bring all of these groups together in common purpose to move Springfield forward. Springfield needs a new direction, one that looks ahead, not behind. Please support me in my efforts to bring a new, passionate, community-based approach to City Hall. Together, we will work for prosperous, healthy, and safe Springfield for everyone. Thank you.
Good morning. A little underdressed, or they're just a little overdressed, I'm not sure. Good morning, Springfield. My name is John G. Thomas. I'm your writing candidate for mayor. That means that my name will not be on the ballot at the bottom. You'll have to write in John G. Thomas. Unlike Mario, it's a little bit easier name to remember from 4 years ago. I'd like to thank the Citizens Club of Springfield for letting us have a chance to express our views. This is my coming out party for the political future of mine. Like everything else you do, you must get your face out there. I call this my 4-year campaign. Yesterday's paper, SJR, mentioned I'm a bowler with over 60 perfect games. What's that got to do with politics? Well, I happen to be the president of the Greater Springfield Bowling Association, which has over 2,000 members. Right now, we have a 5-weekend tournament out at Kingpin Lanes. You might laugh, but we have 1,000 people coming in from our state, Iowa, Ohio. Over 1,000 different people are bringing in over $500,000 worth of revenue to the city of Springfield. I think that's a big thing. How about you? I own E.E. Thomas Garage. My grandpa started the business in 1934, 3rd generation. I've owned it since 1992. I'm the backbone of the business. I do the bookkeeping, I do the mechanical work, I talk to the customer. Sometimes you got to settle down the customer when they see the bill because it's not cheap to get your car repaired anymore. So I kind of do all the facets in business. I know business, and I'm sure these gentlemen up here do too, so I can't take nothing away from them. I wish the best luck for everybody up here, actually. I make a living using tools. The city needs to make a living using our tools. We have many tools in the city of Springfield. We have the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum, which is where my grandfather started his business in 1934, right on that property. I think that's pretty neat. We have the CWLP power plant, one of the greatest power plants in the United States. We have a brand new water purification plant going out north. We have our convention center. hospitals, lawyers, colleges, downtown festivals, and one of my biggest ones is Southwind Park. That park is one of a kind in the United States. I do want to bring up that one of my mentors in the game of life is Butch Elsey. What a wonderful man that guy is. He taught me how to run business. He saved my family business. I was 28. My business was going down. My parents didn't communicate, kind of way the city of Springfield does. I got involved with Butch. He went out. He helped me out. I ran the business for him for 6 months. I made him thousands of dollars. He went, co-signed a loan with me at People's Bank out there on Cook Street. Who uses People's Bank? I did, because that's the only one that would help me. I paid that $30,000 loan off in 1 year because I was dedicated. Just like if I was mayor of Springfield, I'd be dedicated to you guys. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the city of Springfield. I know that I might not move on further than this stage right here, but I'll be back in 4 years. I promise you that. My biggest stand is public transportation. I know how expensive it is to get your car repaired. The average person and below average person is not going to be able to repair their cars in 10 years. We need to start working on public transportation. It'll help out the whole community. You got to start somewhere. I think now is the time. Like I said, John G. Thomas, write-in candidate for Springfield, Illinois. Thank you.